So we've got our heart here. It's a bit weird because I'm showing you sort of the top angle. And what we've got in here is, I'll use my knife to point her out. This is the aorta, which is the biggest artery in the body. And blood is going to go from here into the rest of the body. So it has to be pretty big. Now, this is a lamb's heart, so it's not that large, right? If you think like my fist, you know, it's comparable. It's comparable in size to a lamb's heart, so maybe my heart's about this size. So I'm saying that, like, you know, it's not that big of a heart. Maybe my heart's not that big anyway. But you can see here you've got the aorta. Yeah, this is our heart, and you can see that sort of on the left side. It might be a bit. It was probably a bit more difficult to see than normal, but you can see that the left side of the heart is quite a bit thicker than the right side, and the reason for that is because, you know, blood that comes out of the left side has to go to the rest of the body. So the force that's generated by these muscles has to be really, really big because the blood has to go from this side of the heart to the rest of the body and all the way back without being pumped. Whereas on the right side, it just needs to go to the lungs. The lungs aren't that far away, so it just doesn't need that much muscle mass. So you'll see that the left side of the heart is quite a bit thicker than the right-hand side. And that's mostly it for the sort of external or the outside of the heart. It's, you know, we can see quite a bit of this fat on the outside, and this is called epicardial fat. For those of you who really like their medical terminology, you'll know that epi means on the outside, cardium is, you know, the heart. So, you know, epicardium means on the outside of the heart. And I'm honestly not sure what this fat is for. If one of the biology teachers has a better idea as to what epicardial fat does, or what kind of a function it provides, then that would be awesome. And sometimes if you're really lucky, they'll sort of keep on the coronary arteries, which is the arteries that supply the heart with blood itself. Because the heart's a muscle, so it's still going to need blood, much like any other muscle in your body. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut through the heart. I'm not sure what you call this direction laterally, and we should be able to see the main features of the heart. And I'm using a fairly sharp knife, and whenever I sort of, if you were here at the beginning when I was talking to Mr. Smethurst, you'd have heard that the first time I did a dissection, it was with a very dull scalpel. And the issue with that, when you're using dull objects, is you're more likely to cut yourself. And that actually happened. It wasn't the best time for me, because I ended up not slicing my fingers open, but I did some damage, because I was really hacking away at it, and I just, you know, slipped. It's one of those issues with when you use a blunt object. It seems counterintuitive, you know, it seems like it doesn't make sense. Like, oh, if you use a blunt object, how can you hurt yourself? But because you're putting more force in, then you tend to be a bit less careful. So you might not be able to see, but I've basically got my knife all the way through it now. So I am about ready to show you the cross section of the heart. And let's see. Hopefully I've not wrecked it too much. And, oh, I have cut straight through the middle and we can't see any of the chambers. So let's try that again, shall we? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and completely bisect it, and then we'll be able to sort of open up the chambers, hopefully. Oh, the noise this makes is is something else. So I've kind of butchered this in a sense, in that we can't really see the full features of the inside of the heart. You can see up there that I've somewhat cut through the aorta, and I'm going to see if I can peel back some layers and get into the chambers of the heart itself. Because that's what we're all here for. And, oh, that is beautiful. Some of you might disagree. But I just had a peek inside and it was perfect. So I'm just going to remove this little clot. Well, I'm not really going to remove the clot. There's no real need. So I'm going to remove this sort of muscle layer here. And you can see I'm being quite careful with the knife. I'm not really trying to stab towards myself. I'm trying to take as much time as I need, because rushing this will only damage the heart, and if I rush too much, I'll only damage myself, and that is something we definitely want to avoid. That is a beauty. I really need to get in there. I'm so sorry. So I'm just trying to peel back these muscle layers. Is that enough? No, I kind of need to use my hands for this as well. One thing I do want to mention is some people would use gloves whilst they are dissecting, and that is absolutely fair enough. When it comes to animals that are killed in, for meat, the meat, obviously you're not going to eat raw meat. You should wash your hands after preparing meat, and that's sort of what I'm going to do after this. I'm trying to be quite careful with where my hands go so I don't end up spreading bacteria all over my room. Now, I've not quite got the separation that I want to see, but if we can see there, we can see inside the heart, and it's not quite as clean cut as the diagrams that you'll get online, because obviously real life isn't as pretty as the diagrams. But we can see here we've got quite a thick wall of muscle on this side of the heart, and we've got these like these fibers which make up these valves. And what the valves do is they stop blood from flowing back into where they came from. So you're pushing blood up. You don't want it falling back down. So the valves are going to snap shut like a trapdoor and prevent the blood from coming all the way back down. And if we peel away here, we can sort of, you might not be able to see quite that far just because my camera is not too detailed. But that's sort of like the inside chambers of the heart. And you've got your two chambers, the bottom, which is the ventricle, and the top, which is the atrium. I'm going to see if I can cut open the other side, and hopefully we'll have a bit of a better view into the chambers. And again, I'm gonna do the same thing that I did on this side. So I'm just gonna slowly peel back the layers of muscle, which sort of cover the chambers of the heart. I want to be kind of careful because I don't want to absolutely destroy the structure, but I'm also gonna have to be a bit, I'm gonna have to choose how to apply. That is really strange. Is that? Okay. I'm discovering things as well. I will admit now, it's been 6 years since I last did a dissection of a heart. Actually, I think that was my last dissection that I did in general. So my experience with this probably isn't the best, but it's such a shame that you guys can't see where I'm sitting right now. I'm sort of peering into the chambers, and it's really cool. Could we get this? Right, let's try not to. Oh, that was dangerous. I felt the blade through the heart. Right, let's see. What am I doing? I'm trying to separate this layer. So what do I need to do? I need to find the bottom of the layer and remove it so that I can peel it back. Dissection is a tricky process. Because when you're handling meat and things, you tend to just chop away, get it into nicely uniform sizes. You don't really care about preserving the structure. But because this is a dissection and it's here to show you guys sort of the structure and the anatomy, I don't want to be really quick and really sort of messy, because if I do, I ruin the structure, and then that's just not great for everyone. Oh, that is a juicy bit of heart. Right, let's just remove this entirely. And we can see into the chambers of the heart here. Maybe I should remove some of this a bit more as well. Peel this away. Ooh, you can see these fibers as well. I'm not sure how well you can't see them well at all. I'll show them when I'm done sort of separating this bit of the heart. And yeah, okay. So this tissue in the middle is basically in the way. So that's what I'm trying to get rid of right now. Is just so we can show certain features of the heart a bit better, or a bit better. And I'm not going to say I'm an expert at this. I am trying my best. And that's all we can do, really, isn't it? We can just try our best, and if we've done that, no one can really complain. So I have butchered this a bit. I'll be honest. But this is the other side of the heart, and we've sort of seen inside the chambers. Oh, do I need to move it down? Closer to me? Closer to me. Yeah. And you can see that, the walls on this side are quite a bit thinner. And also this sort of chamber area. Don't worry about this bit of flappy meat here. It's just what I've stripped away. And this is where the blood is going to flow into. So that's... And also you can see here. I'm going to see if I can peel this back. You can see the sort of... it's really difficult to see on this camera. You can see the sort of fibers that make up the heart. And these are really tough, right? This muscle is the only muscle in your body that's going to work for the rest of your life. So it's got to be strong, and it's got to be really, 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 really powerful. And if I'm not wrong, I believe the heart cells are the only ones. They have quite a long lifespan compared to most other muscle cells in the body. I might be wrong on that. Please correct me if I am. And so these guys are really hard workers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the heart completely in half. I'm going to try and hack my way through the aorta so that we can get two distinct halves of the heart. And then I'm going to see if we can strip back some more of this meat and properly see into the chambers. I've kind of done it, and that is a grim noise. Cutting through connective tissue and fat is always one of my worst, not fears, but it's one of my most dreaded areas of this. So I'm just going to start peeling back some of these structures and seeing what we can get. So let's get rid of this little sheath here. And I mean, look at this side of the heart, right? I might be incorrect. Is that the left side of the heart? So put it back together, it's a bit floppy. But look at the fibers in there. Like that is where all the blood in the body is going to come out from. And these guys are really, really tough. If you compare it to this side, obviously I've stripped a bit more out on this side, but you can see the fibers are quite a lot thinner. And even like when I'm holding it like this, I mean, you can't feel it because you're not here, but it feels a lot thinner. And it just goes to show you how hard the left side of the heart works. So yeah, that's like, these are the chambers of, sorry, that's the ventricle of your heart. And this guy is going to be like sending blood all the way around your body, and with enough pressure that it makes it all the way back as well, which is really impressive. You know, if you think about how long your vessels are, I think he said that they would stretch around the earth, because it's quite a few times, and your heart's able to send blood all the way through that, so it can get all the way back. So I think if I'm to speak anymore, I would just end up repeating myself and rambling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one last look. I'm going to dig out this clot because it might be obstructing our vision a little bit. I'm going to dig out this clot. And for those of you who are missing who weren't quite here when I was setting up, I was talking about blood clots, and what these guys are is blood in your body has platelets in it, which will cause it to clot. And why does it clot? Well, if you cut yourself or you were to start bleeding, then if there was nothing to stop it, then you would just bleed out. You lose all the blood in your body and you would die. So you have these blood clots that prevent you from losing blood. And, they'll form and, slow down the rate of blood loss. But it comes with the side effect of when we have blood knocking about in organs for quite a while, they end up making little clots like these, which are really grim to deal with. All right, so I'm going to show you the cross section one last time, which is the inside of the heart. I'm going to peel back this layer of tissue here, cutting through some fibers, and the tension in them. I'm very sorry that I keep saying this. You can't feel it, but the tension in these fibers is insane. It's really, really strong. You can feel it snapping with every one that I cut. So we can see this is the right-hand side of the heart. It's quite a bit thinner than the rest, and it's also like, you can't see as many fibers, and it's not too strong on this side. Up here is where I'm sticking my thumb through right now. I assume that would have gone into the pulmonary artery, which is the artery that takes blood into the lungs. And I say that because when my butcher dealt with this animal, you usually remove the arteries and things because you can't really eat them. They're not good use for meat, so he's got no reason to keep a hold of them. I think I could have, if I had a bit more time, I would have been able to ask him to keep those on, so that we could have a look into those structures. And this is the left side of the heart, characterized by the aorta on top, which is going to send blood to the rest of the body. And this cross section inside are very, very, very impressive. Yeah, the tension in these fibers is ridiculously strong. I'm giving it a squeeze right now, and it is fighting back. There is real power in these muscles. Yeah, and that's the outside of the heart with a little bit of epicardial fat there as well. So I think that is everything. If I've failed to mention anything, please let me know. My hands are covered in blood right now. Thanks for coming along, everyone. If we've got any questions, then I'll see if I can get them answered, but I think that's mostly it. Right, I think I'll end the meeting there. Once again, thanks everyone for turning up. It's great to see everyone showing such an interest in science, and I hope once we're in school for the science club, we'll be able to do something like this. I think dissections are always really fun, and seeing how things work is seeing what normally you can't see is it's one of the core parts of science, and it's really interesting. So thanks for turning up, everyone, and I will see you the next time we decide to do one of these online dissections, I guess.